But I just want to say this, as much as we'll be taking your opinion, and that is the most important thing, and as much as we'll be reading stuff from numerous outlets, because it's multiple outlets saying this about Marcus Rashford, I think there's a couple of things I would say, just to give my opinion, if anyone's interested. I think that there's almost a fear attached to Marcus Rashford, and whilst he and his team have got every right to protect them, I understand that, there's certainly been, for a number of years now, a pile-on in relation to people who question Marcus Rashford. And I think a lot of this is to do with the agency and publicity and PR that's been built around him since COVID. Certain journalists have mentioned this, that you almost don't dare say anything about Rashford because you'll get a pile-on. Certain journalists have said that when they've given player ratings about Rashford, they've received contact about why it was so negative. So, look, it's not easy for any United fan to turn on Marcus Rashford and say they want to sell him anyway because he's from the youth setup. There has been good moments, and, you know, you don't really want to be doing that. But there is also the added guilt thing that comes with the PR around Rashford, and I think it's actually backfired. I think the trouble is when people feel that there's a manipulation going around somebody and almost they're overprotected, and we've seen Gary Neville's done it, we've seen people do it on Sky, we've seen them do it on TNT, Rio Ferdinand's done it. It's never been easy to actually openly talk about Marcus Rashford as a footballer without getting a pile-on and a backlash. And I think this is one of the first times I've felt able to say this in a more pragmatic way, and I think a lot of people are feeling about this now, because everybody's more or less universally in agreement that something needs to change for the betterment of the player and the club, and it's time. It's long past time. It's time to go. Even now I still feel there'll be a big pile on this, but it's time to go. We are Manchester United. And when I read things such as the reasons that Manchester United would like to move him on is because they feel that he has, his demeanour at training, his, inconsistency, his off-pitch behaviour, his form, all these things and all these rumours, you sort of go, David Beckham, Eric Cantona, Cristiano Ronaldo, Wayne Rooney, Roy Keane. We never had all of this. And they had more talent in their toenail than he's got in his whole body. And yet he's been given multiple chances. I blame the football club. I've experienced it firsthand, just how, if you say anything about Rashford, it can damage your chances of things happening with the club. And I don't really care about the consequences of saying that, but the club have done that, not Marcus Rashford. They've bent over backwards. They've protected him. We've seen Solskjaer have to apologise in press conferences because he said something about Rashford. The club have gone too far. And in some ways, that's not Rashford's fault. This whole thing needs to change. I think Ineos know it needs to change. I think Amrim knows to change. And I hope Rashford knows it needs to change. For the betterment of everybody, it needs to change. Because if we keep him, if he comes back and starts training well and trying really hard, the show goes on. And in 3 months' time, when it all comes crashing down again, we'll all be going, we should have done something about this. This is now for the betterment of everybody. I'm tired of it. I think Jamie Carragher said it tonight. We talk about Rashford too much. We do. For the talent, we talk like he's Pele. We talk like he's Messi. We talk like he's Maradona. He's not even in the top 10 players in England. And we talk about him constantly. How are we ever going to progress as a football club when we're constantly talking about a player that we don't even miss? And we saw that yesterday. He needs to go. He needs to realise he needs to go. The people around him need to realise it's better for him to go. And Barcelona, PSG, I actually think he'd do a good job there if they take him. That's going to be the next big problem. But in relation to the football, I just wanted to say this. When you look at what Man United are, and you look about where we want to go, I look at Marcus Rashford as a footballer, and the best Marcus Rashford is an individualistic player. He's an individualistic player who doesn't want to work hard and isn't very good defensively. Does that fit into Amrim's system? Individualistic, doesn't work hard. No, they're two big red flags. Adding to that his wage, that's it. It's as simple as that. The style of player, the lack of work rate, and the wage. I mean, this is just obvious. If he was called, if he was from Italy and he'd been here for 3 years and it hadn't worked out, we'd be getting rid of him. Look at Anthony, get rid of him. Like, it's just so obvious. It's just so obvious. If he was on 80 grand a week, I'd be like, let him sit on the bench. You know, every now and again he can come on, he can score a goal, but no, he's not a starter. He's not a starter, and he can't be a bench player because the wage is just too prohibitive. So, look, I would keep him around if he was on 100k a week. As a bench player, I'd be happy. But we're paying Salah wages to a player that doesn't suit the system. And then you take into account how many times we've been down this road, and then you take into account all the entourage and all the issues and the constant talk. It's just not worth it. And I think Amrim's come in as an outsider and gone, I'm going to give him a chance. And if I can get him to work, I will. And I think he's looked at it over the last month and gone, bloody hell. I mean, he's even let the hints out, hasn't he? And, you know, the players got to want it. And it's very, very clear from what Amrim has said and what everyone else is saying is that he's not focused. And I've got no sympathy with that. There might be a reason why he's not focused, but this is a bloody dream, mate. Not only is it a dream, you've got a massive contract, a massive wage, a massive opportunity. I just think it's time to go. And I don't hold any guilt attached to that. I really don't. Hi, Mark. I listen to Mika, and that's the kind of people and the reason why we never get better. Amram is fresh air. We need to do this, says John. Constantine says, my observations, I was looking at clips of Rashford in 2020. His pace was astonishing. He's still a good player, but his pace has dropped. I think, yeah, look, I'll tell you this for free. Positive, fair. You put Marcus Rashford in a PSG side in the French league, he'll score 20 goals. You put him in a Barcelona side in that La Liga, he'll score 20 goals. Like, there are leagues where he could do well. He needs to be in a league playing for a team where half the league are shit, and he'll score goals. The Premier League, I think it's just too competitive for Rashford. I think it's every game teams are at you, and I remember Ten Hag coming to Man United and he couldn't believe how good the teams were down near the bottom, because in the Dutch league, the bottom half, it's a holiday. So I think that I've never thought he was shit. I think his attitude's a bit shit. I think some of his performances have been a bit shit, but I don't think he's a shit player. I think with a fresh start, a new focus, and a focus on his football, then obviously he could be a good player. But one of the things we don't know about Rashford, and I'm not making excuses here, but one of the things we don't know about Rashford is we don't really know anything about Rashford. I mean, we hear rumours about him being quiet and reserved. We know nothing about what his attitude's like. We know nothing about what his intelligence is like. And what I mean about that, you look at someone like Paul Gascoigne, and with all due respect, Paul Gascoigne is not that intelligent off the pitch in relation to awareness and the way the world works. And he put himself in loads of different situations with people who surrounded him. We don't know anything about Rashford like that. I mean, I don't know whether he loves football. I don't know whether he wants to rebuild his career. I don't know. But I just think Man United and him is a divorce that needs to happen for everybody's benefit. And Goldbridge, that's the end of the clip. I'm sure you enjoyed it. In fact, I bet that's the best clip you've ever watched. So there's no reason not to subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon so you never miss a clip again. In fact, smash a like on the video, because we all know only legends like videos, and you are all legends. So please smash a like on the video, and we will see you again on the next one. Thank you very much for watching, as always.